7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Latino Diaspora. Right here on this platform, we discuss issues pertaining to Latinos in the United States. I also have my main YouTube channel, which is called Uncommon Sense, where I discuss everyday issues and we try to find logical issues. But not everyone uses logic. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, the subscriber mode has been enabled, meaning if you're not a subscriber and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you will need to subscribe to the channel. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who are already subscribed to the channel. Whether you've been there from the beginning or just recently joined, I really appreciate your love and your continued support. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, particularly Instagram and TikTok. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter into your devices and those who watch from the clouds, even the haters. So, if you have not done so, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notifications to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it in the playback. Now, being that there are other YouTube creators that are live tonight, I don't expect many people to watch this live. Perhaps they'll catch it on the playback. So, as you can see by the thumbnail, the topic for tonight is Latinos in the 2025 election. This is referring to the race for mayor here in New York City. The current mayor is Eric Adams. Okay, so I will be discussing it further. But before I do, we're going to have another episode of In My Words. So right now it's early in the election cycle. Basically, at this point, the candidates that have officially announced their campaigns are out there trying to convince the voters that they are the best person to be the chief executive for New York City. So, of course, there'll be debates, there'll be phones, and there'll be many opportunities to get information regarding who's going to become mayor. Of course, so many of you know that Eric Adams, who has decided to run as an unaffiliated candidate, in other words, an independent. Why did he do that? I don't know. But I do know this. Anyone that is seriously considering running for mayor and need to make themselves available to answer questions. Questions regarding any failures of the current administration and how another 4 years of Eric Adams will benefit New Yorkers. So we shall see. Okay. Now, one thing I have noticed that I seem to be tagged with certain content creators. Now, basically, when it comes to certain content creators, I don't have an issue that much. As long as they're tagging me regarding content which is positive, which edifies, and which encourages those who consume it. Um, However, whenever anyone tags me because of a conflict regarding one or multiple content creators, I have a huge problem with that. I, for the most part, try to avoid getting involved with these because, first of all, I got more important things to consider. Number one. Number two, I don't want to get involved with the YouTube politics involved and all that sort of thing. Okay. Now, whatever you want to say on your own platform, go ahead. Okay. But I take you issue when content creators tag me along to try to include me with their ongoing beefs with other content creators. It serves no purpose. It serves no constructive purpose. And if you have a beef with someone, uh, the mature thing is to do is try to have a conversation, preferably offline, with the person and explain what the person said or what the person did that was found to be offensive. And then if they're able to resolve the differences, fine. If they're not able to resolve the differences, then the best thing to do is to simply have no further contact with that creator or creators and go your separate ways. That will be the mature thing to do. But as we see here in these YouTube streets, uh, many people are not able to act in a mature way. That is the reality. Okay. And that's something that I didn't think I would be dealing with, but that is the reality. Okay. I cannot control what other people say or do. I can only control what is my response. And a lot of times, these individuals do this to try to elicit a response from you. Okay. And what happens? You respond, and then that person responds back, and then you decide to respond, a counter response, and it goes back and forth, and it never ends. It's just that there's certain individuals that crave attention. Okay. So the best way to deal with such individuals is to ignore them. Okay. By ignoring them, you're depriving them of that attention that they seek, which is like an adrenaline. It's like a drug for them. They are addicted to attention. So for the most part, it's been my history whenever someone um, attacks me, um, other than try to clarify things, I basically ignore the person because otherwise it'll just go back and forth and it will never end. And of course, we have to understand that there's individuals who lack the maturity to think otherwise. That's why I refer to the collector as a circus because they act like a bunch of clowns. Also, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow on my main channel, I will do an episode of open discussion. The difference is it will be in Spanish. Okay, so basically it'll be the same format. I'll have topics which I will discuss, The audience, if there's an audience who enter comments in the chat, they are able to opine. Also, if they have any topics that they want me to discuss, I will do my best to comply. Of course, when it comes to topics where I know very little or nothing, I will be transparent and state so accordingly. Okay. But it's really your opportunity to chime in regarding any topic that you would like for me to discuss. Now, should there be someone that enters in the chat that speaks English or want to join the panel and speak English, obviously I'm going to address that person. I'm really not going to translate it too much because I don't want to make it a 5 hour or 8 hour stream because unlike some people, I have a life. Okay, I have a life outside of YouTube. And generally, when it comes to my lives, I do very hard and I succeed for the most part of keeping it under 2 hours. Okay, that way, people who are busy are able to review the stream, maybe 2 or 3 settings, whatever the case may be. So, with that being said, we're going to get into the main topic. Now, I just want to state for the record that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone wishes to hit that link and opine regarding the topic at hand, they can do so. Again, I need to state for the record that if I never seen you before, if I never heard from you before, I will insist that you camp in the backstage and make sure that no one tries to flash any genitalia, which would cause the people of YouTube to take down your stream. I have been fortunate that no one has tried. However, I do have to remain vigilant because there are those individuals that will try to either show their genitalia or try to enter porn into the chat. Okay. And it does that. These are necessary safeguards to try to keep this platform, as well as my other channel, drama free. So it's 2025, and of course, we have the opportunity to vote who's going to be the mayor of the city of New York for the next 4 years. The current mayor is Eric Adams. However, there's been a lot of controversy regarding the current mayor. There were accusations that were made against him, which were eventually dropped. And many of his deputy mayors had resigned, probably due to the allegations involved. And of course, another issue is his decision to run unaffiliated. Okay. That is his choice. Time will tell whether or not he will succeed. Now, when it comes to cities like New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, Chicago, Boston, and other cities, there is a huge Latino presence. However, in the Latino community, there are different segments. Okay? One thing we have to bear in mind that we have different diasporas. Okay, we have Latinos from the Caribbean, which consists of Cubans, Dominicans, and Puerto Ricans. We also have Latinos on Central America, which is basically Mexico, as long as countries like Honduras, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama, um, and El Salvador. Okay. And then we have Latinos from Latin America. Samples of them are Ecuador, Colombia, Peru, Argentina, Uruguay, and then so on. Okay. And one mistake that people make is they think all Latinos are alike. No. And the reason why the difference is part of it is their is the culture. Also part of it is the political history. Okay. And how they treated minorities over there in their respective territories. Okay. So of course, for a city like New York, that has a huge Latino presence, of course, every mayor with their salt is going to try to gain the Latino vote in an attempt to succeed and become mayor. I think at this juncture we have officially 11 candidates. Okay, so let me just share my screen. No, I don't want that. Okay, let's just check and see. All right. I apologize. This is I have to, I just have to check every now and then. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is share my screen. Now I'm not gonna be long. Like I said, I'm not gonna be long, maybe 30 to 45 minutes due to the fact that the other content creators that are uh, conducting streams. Now I came across this article today in City Minutes, and it's part of a series called Latino Vote and the 2025 New York City elections. So let's just scroll down. In the last 4 years, much has changed about Latino voting trends shaped by Donald Trump's reemergence, the aftermath of COVID, the exodus of many Latinos, and the arrival of others, and dissatisfaction with the Democratic Party. And I'm just going to skip the next. I'm going to the next paragraph. In the last 4 years, much has changed about Latino voting trends shaped by Donald Trump's reemergence, the aftermath of COVID, the exodus of many Latinos, and the arrival of others, and the dissatisfaction with the Democratic Party. No doubt, new developments and insights about Latino voting patterns were emerged in the run up to and results of the 2025 municipal elections. The 2024 election was constructive. Support for Donald Trump and Latinos increased, though not at the scale some have suggested. The largest increase for Trump came from support from Latinos in Queens. Voter registration numbers have declined among Latinos over the last few years, and voter participation likewise since 2018. What is likely mean for the 2025 citywide elections, not only against, but really note that. Listen. With over 1 million of U.S. us registered in the city of New York, Latinos comprise 23% of the entire population. Within the Democratic Party, Latinos now exceed 700,000 voters. Excuse me. Despite diminishing voter participation, Latinos constitute 18% of the possible primary electorate this June. In 2021, in the mayoral election, Latinos comprised of 17% of the primary electorate, and it was my contention that Latinos helped Eric Adams over the top in a multiple field race. Now, one thing we have that's very unique here in New York, and I think in some cities, we have what's called ranked choice voting. And how that works is the following. Let's say you have four candidates, and that's an example. Let's say I'm a candidate for mayor, Denise Gonzalez is another candidate, Radical Latinos the third candidate, and Protect is the fourth. Just this is the second argument. So you have the choice of voting for your first choice, your second choice, your third choice, your fourth choice, and so on. Okay. So let's say your first choice, that person did not succeed. However, no one gained a majority of the votes. So what can happen is, let's say your candidate finished last. Well, then what you do is you revote. Actually, what it is, um, it goes around, and then they factor in who you vote for. They vote second, or they pick third, or they pick fourth, and it goes on and on and on until someone gains over 50%, and that person becomes the candidate of the party. And I believe election primary day is June the 25th. So I, and of course other New Yorkers, will have an opportunity to participate in the primary as long as we are registered Democrats. Okay. And if the Republicans, well, then you will do the same thing regarding if there's more than one Republican candidate. In specific council district, Latinos can help increase Latino political representation. Latinos can make the difference in the Bronx borough president's race. Now, for those of you who are not familiar regarding New York, New York City is divided within 5 counties known as boroughs, and the boroughs consist of the Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. In the following, okay. Have questions when it comes to Latino vote in New York City? So they're asking you if you have any questions to send an email to editor@citylimits.org with the subject line Latino Vote 2025. So basically you're asked to take a survey, and we're gonna park it here. Okay. Now, of course, the question is going to be, who's going to be the Democratic candidate and who's going to be the Republican candidate? And then also you have to factor in the fact that we have also third-party candidates as well. So it would be interesting. Now, just give me a moment. Now I'm going to share one more article. This is from Wikipedia. So just give me a moment. Can I just excuse me? Okay, hopefully. Okay, just have to bear with me because the for the Democrat primary is, oh, I stand corrected. Uh, early voting, which is usually about 10 days down, 10 days before. To scroll down. Now here, nomination, and among them, 7 been leading, which is Andrew Adams, who is the current speaker. Okay, my apologies. Um, I'm going to try to share my screen one more time. Um, okay. So, okay. So, the Speaker of the City Council, you have Andrew Cuomo, who was the former governor of New York, of the state of New York. He is the controller. You also have, uh, oh, come on. Okay. Seymour Marie Okay, I'm gonna try one more time to share my screen. Otherwise, I'm just gonna give it up. At this point, I'm just gonna read it to you. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, I'm just gonna read it to you because it's not popping up, and I'm not okay. So there was a poll recent with it, and it was a margin error of 3.8%. We did show that Como was ahead in the poll with 38%. Mandant, he had 10%, Adams had 8%, and the other leading candidate. Okay, so let me just. And here are a description regarding many is the Speaker of the City Council. And she's also running okay, my apologies. At this point, I'm just going to read it because I cannot. For some reason I'm having difficulty, so I'm just going to read it. Okay, just give me a moment. Now, in fact, here in New York, people who are okay, people who wish to serve for mayor are able to serve 2 4-year terms. Now, the fact of the matter is that over the that is elected as the Democratic candidate for mayor usually end up winning. Now, there have been some exceptions to it, um, mainly um, Giuliani ran as a Republican, and so did Mike Bloomberg. So we're going to park it here. So At this point, we know very little regarding the candidates, other than people like Eric Adams, Andrew Cuomo, and Adrian Adams. I'm going to give you um, my point of view, which I'm going to admit I have a certain bias against Andrew Cuomo. And the reason why I don't support him is regarding the controversy regarding how he handled the COVID 19 deaths in nursing homes. Now, let me make this perfectly clear. Um, Everyone, and I repeat, everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So I know for a fact that there are attempts to press charges against him regarding his handling of the COVID 19 deaths in the nursing home. Time will tell whether or not he's innocent or is guilty. But the other issue that I have with Andrew Cuomo is that he forced many employees, both those who work in state government and those who work for the municipal government, which is called Tier 6. Now, basically, what the situation is when you become a municipal employee, depending when your employment began with municipal government and when you join the pension system, you are placed in what's called a particular tier. Okay. Now the problems with with tier 6 is that first of all, uh, depending on what is your income, um, the rate that you contribute varies. Number one. Number two, not all your, if you do overtime, not all your overtime gets factored in um, into your pension. So these are some of the inequities that are attached with tier 6, which is why I'm not voting for Andrew Cuomo. I mean, he's gonna have to address that as why basically force tier 6 onto the majority of municipal employees. And now, just to give you an idea, the majority of municipal employees of the city of New York are in tier 6. So what I will be doing is during this election season, I will give you my thoughts regarding the election, not just here, but also at my main channel. So again, I want to remind everybody that I will be conducting a stream in my main channel in Spanish. However, if anyone that pops on the chat that speaks English, I will address in English. Anyone that wishes to join the panel that speaks English, I will speak English as well. Now, the next live will probably be Thursday. Okay. Probably 9 o'clock. Okay. So, of course, I'm gonna wrap this up. Of course, the playback gang. Do your thing, answer your comments as you see fit, and of course, um, please consider subscribing to both my channels. So it's early in the election season. And as more information becomes available, good, bad, or what have you, of course, I will share it with you. And of course, I'm going to close by saying the following: we must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by the stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Latina Diaspora saying good night, take care, and peace.
Be strong.